That day, in the bustling heart of Los Angeles, the bright sunlight seemed to pierce through every corner of the city, but failed to warm a shadowed spot on the sidewalk. A woman, likely in her early 40s, sat huddled there. Her weathered face bore the marks of time and hardship. Her trembling hands clutched a cardboard sign with scrawled letters, "Homeless veteran, anything helps." Around her, people rushed by, immersed in their own busy lives. Polished shoes clicked past her, indifferent eyes cast fleeting glances but never lingered. The cacophony of honking cars, hurried footsteps, and the dazzling glow of towering advertisements painted a picture of a city alive yet devoid of connection. No one stopped. No one noticed the small, fragile figure sitting by the roadside. In that cold, lonely corner, Catherine, her name, had been sitting for hours. Her old, tattered military jacket offered little protection against the biting wind. Her eyes, though hardened by despair, still held a faint flicker of resilience. Once, she had dreamed of a brighter future while serving her country. But now, that dream had withered, leaving only the harsh reality of homelessness. And then, a man appeared. A presence that seemed to stand out in the sea of passing figures. Elon Musk, the renowned entrepreneur known for his bold ideas and unimaginable achievements, happened to be walking down that very street. As the mastermind behind some of the world's most groundbreaking companies like Tesla and SpaceX, Elon's days were often consumed by monumental plans. But today, he wasn't thinking about rockets or electric cars. Something deeper was stirring inside him, a yearning to find meaning beyond his towering successes. When his eyes met Catherine's, he stopped in his tracks. There was something about her that he couldn't ignore. The faded military jacket, the trembling hands clutching the cardboard sign, and most of all, her eyes. Eyes that, despite exhaustion, carried a faint but unmistakable ember of life. Elon felt an inexplicable connection, as though he had encountered her in a dream or heard her story before in another life. The crowd behind him began to grow impatient, murmuring as they navigated around his stationary figure. But Elon paid them no mind. He stepped closer, lowering himself to meet her at eye level. His voice was soft yet steady as he greeted her. "Hello," he said. Catherine flinched slightly and looked up. Her eyes widened in surprise, but suspicion quickly clouded her face. Years of living on the streets had taught her to be wary of strangers, especially those who appeared unexpectedly kind. Elon offered a small, reassuring smile, waiting patiently. "I'm Elon Musk," he said gently. "I saw you sitting here, and I'd like to hear your story if you're willing to share it." Catherine studied him for a moment, as though trying to determine whether his words were genuine. Something about his calm, earnest expression eased her defenses. After a long pause, she drew in a shaky breath and began to speak. "My name is Catherine," she said, her voice unsteady but clear. "I served in the military, in Afghanistan." Elon stayed silent, listening intently to every word, never interrupting. The story Catherine was about to tell would not only change her life, but would also shift Elon's perspective on the world around him. From that moment, an extraordinary journey was set into motion. Catherine began recounting her time in the military, where each day was a battle, not just against external enemies, but also against the fears within herself. She spoke of her service in Afghanistan, a place where the harsh sunlight couldn't erase the haunting memories of intense combat. She remembered sleepless nights, ears constantly alert to every faint sound, always prepared for unexpected threats. Catherine recalled being an excellent marksman, completing her missions with unwavering focus. Yet each success came with an undertow of guilt. She witnessed friends and comrades injured or killed right in front of her eyes. Each loss carved deeper wounds into her psyche, making fear and trauma her constant companions. "At first, I thought I was strong enough to overcome everything," she said, her voice trembling. "But sometimes willpower alone isn't enough to silence the darkness in your mind." When Catherine returned from the battlefield, she dreamed of starting anew, a fresh life, a stable job, and a chance to rebuild. But reality proved far harsher than she had imagined. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, clung to her like a shadow, causing her to endure relentless nightmares and wake up startled in the middle of the night. During the day, loud noises, honking cars, or sudden sounds triggered intense anxiety, leaving her heart racing. Catherine tried to find work, but she quickly realized society didn't offer many opportunities for veterans, especially women. Employers often looked at the gaps in her resume with skepticism. They didn't trust me, she said, her voice breaking. To them, I was just a problematic woman with a troubled past, not worth the risk. Her life became increasingly unstable. Catherine faced rejection after rejection, losing her ability to afford rent. Eventually, she found herself living on the streets. At first, she sought help, but the stigma and indifferent gazes from people around her eroded her hope. No one wants to live this life, she sighed, her gaze distant. But sometimes, the choice isn't yours to make. Elon Musk listened to her story with quiet intensity. He had spent his life building groundbreaking technologies and taking humanity to new heights, but Catherine's tale made him realize that the toughest challenges weren't in outer space, but right here on Earth, helping someone find hope amidst despair. I want to help you, Elon said, his voice steady and determined. Catherine shook her head, her shoulders trembling. I don't think there's any chance left for me, she said softly. No, you're wrong, Elon replied immediately. Everyone deserves a second chance. His words weren't just comforting. They carried a promise, a resolve that Catherine could sense. Yet, she remained doubtful. After so many disappointments, she feared that hope was just an illusion, destined to bring more pain when it faded away. A few days later, Elon returned, this time with a clear plan. He had arranged temporary housing for Catherine, a modest but cozy apartment where she could begin again. He also connected her with veteran support organizations, ensuring she would receive psychological assistance and help finding suitable employment. I don't just want to get you off the streets, Elon explained. I want to help you rediscover the meaning of life. At first, Catherine found it hard to believe. Her past had been a series of letdowns, and she was hesitant to trust that her life could change. But Elon didn't give up. He visited her often, bringing not only material support, but also patience and encouragement. Under Elon's guidance, Catherine began attending therapy sessions to heal the mental wounds inflicted by PTSD. She learned to confront her pain instead of running from it. Each session was a challenge, but also a small victory that helped her reclaim pieces of herself. Elon also encouraged Catherine to take skill-building classes. You're capable of more than you think, he told her. Catherine started with basic skills like using a computer, writing emails, and time management. Slowly, she began to feel that she could stand on her own again. In the first month at her new apartment, Catherine still struggled to adjust to the feeling of safety. She often sat on her bed, looking around the small but tidy space, as if she couldn't believe it was real. Once, she broke down in tears, realizing that after years of cold sidewalks and sleepless nights, she finally had a place to call home. One day, Catherine received a phone call from a small company inviting her to interview for an administrative assistant position. She felt a wave of anxiety, fearing she wasn't good enough. I don't think I can do this, she confided to Elon, her voice heavy with doubt. Elon smiled and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Remember, failure isn't the end. It's just a lesson. You've overcome challenges far greater than this. I believe you can do it. Those words gave Catherine the strength she needed. She prepared meticulously for the interview, reviewing the skills she had learned. Walking into the interview room, she felt nervous, but she reminded herself that she was ready to face this challenge. The interview went smoother than she had expected. Catherine was offered the position and began her role as an administrative assistant. It wasn't a grand job, but for her, it was a monumental step, a testament to her ability to change her life with determination and the right support. That first success wasn't just Catherine's victory. It was a turning point that inspired her to keep moving forward. Each passing day brought new lessons and growing confidence. Elon remained by her side, not just as a benefactor, but as a trusted friend. Catherine's story wasn't just about overcoming adversity. It was a testament to the power of resilience and compassion. What Elon Musk didn't just transform one woman's life. It inspired countless others to believe that no matter how tough life gets, hope is always within reach. More than a year had passed since Elon Mark first met Catherine on that street corner. It was a day neither of them could have predicted would become a turning point in their lives. Today, Catherine not only has a stable job, but has also built a meaningful life. From someone who once believed she had hit rock bottom, she has now become a source of inspiration for those around her. But the story doesn't end there. Catherine began participating in programs to support fellow veterans, sharing her journey with those in similar circumstances. Through these events, she inspired others who, like her, had faced homelessness and despair but refused to give up. At one such event, Catherine stepped onto the stage, the soft spotlight illuminating a face now glowing with confidence and hope. She looked out over the packed room, where countless eyes were fixed on her, eagerly listening. "I once thought my life was over," she began, her voice warm but resolute. "But a stranger believed in me, and that belief changed everything. We can't always overcome everything on our own, but when we open our hearts and accept help, miracles can happen." Her words resonated deeply with the audience. Among them, Elon Mark sat silently, a proud smile on his face. He didn't need thanks or recognition. For him, seeing Catherine reclaim her life and purpose was reward enough. The story of Catherine and Elon carries a simple but profound lesson. Sometimes, a small act, pausing to listen and extending a helping hand, can create a monumental change in someone's life. Not all of us have the opportunity to change the world, but we always have the chance to change someone's world. If you find Catherine's story inspiring, join us on the journey through Life Stories 365. Here, you'll discover real-life stories, valuable lessons, and, most importantly, the reassurance that you're not alone in your pursuit of life's true meaning. Subscribe to our channel today so you don't miss a single story. Every story is a piece of the puzzle that shows the power of hope, compassion, and the will to rise above challenges. Let's spread the message of love, kindness, and belief in the good in life together. Catherine and Elon have written a beautiful story, and the next one could be yours. Join us on this journey because every step forward adds value to life. Life Stories 365, stories that change lives.